So, over the last few years, being very careful with how I talk about this, the liver has been attacked, right?
Yeah.
Liver function's gone down, fat metabolism has been compromised, and protein metabolism, our filtration, our ability to detox, which we are now being bombarded by so many more toxins. So, it's being asked to do more and it has less of a function. Um, how is nitric oxide related to liver health?
Well, there's a number of ways in which is related to liver. So number one, it controls portal blood flow, right, and getting the blood supply to the liver to where it can detoxify and filter the blood through the liver. So without sufficient nitric oxide, you get what's called portal hypertension. Without nitric oxide, again, it's really the liver, the fat cells, and the skeletal muscle cells that are the primary tissues of uptake of glucose. So again, without insulin signaling, if you can't make nitric oxide, you get insulin resistance in the liver, and then you start to basically get into metabolic disease of the liver. Then you get fat deposition, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, mainly due to too much fructose consumption and sugar consumption. But now we know that there are people who have these genetic SNPs in their P450 enzymes that even maybe become more at risk or susceptible to liver dysfunction. And then the bombardment of all the toxins, the liver is the main site of detoxification, and all these toxins that are coming in our body from the environment, from the food, we're just overwhelming the system. Uh, but fortunately, the liver is very regenerative by nature. And as long as we can make sufficient nitric oxide, then that tells our own stem cells to mobilize, differentiate, regenerate the liver, make new cells that work properly. But again, if we can't make nitric oxide, we don't get the signal to our stem cells because nitric oxide is the signal that tells our own stem cells to mobilize, differentiate, repair these senescent cells. And so for us, aging and disease is just about the ability for cellular turnover. Get rid of the cells that aren't functional, bring in new cells that are functional, and that's regenerative medicine. And as long as we make nitric oxide, we can continue to turn over cells and make new cells that work properly. And that's part of liver function. But with all that, all these contributing factors of toxicity, the liver becomes overwhelmed and eventually, it fails.
And when there's liver disease, there's heart disease. They're all connected. So you can't just take a medication for your heart and hope that everything else is going to work right, right? You got to get to the source of the problem.
And
So,
all the cells of the liver make nitric oxide. You got Kupffer cells that are part of the immune regulatory cells of the liver. Hepatocytes make nitric oxide. So part of the overall liver metabolism is again dependent upon that cell's ability to produce nitric oxide.